All right, Rich Steeves from TMC. I'm here at the Madefire booth on the floor at New York Comic Con. Joining me today are Liam Sharp and Dave Gibbons. We're going to talk about the Madefire app and the materials that are available for that app. So tell us a little bit about Madefire.
Well, Madefire is a digital storytelling company, and we've basically taken some of the classic tropes of comics, which is words and pictures, and taken them to a new digital platform. But we've also built the tool that enables this to happen, so we can put the power sort of in the hands of the creators, which makes every experience very unique.
Now, we're familiar with some other digital comics applications. What makes Madefire different from some other ones that we might be familiar with?
Well, I think the key thing is as I say, the platform that we built and the tool that we built, which enables the creators to do their own stuff. The reason why I think this is particularly powerful is that it's a bit like Photoshop. Everyone uses the tools very differently. And we were really surprised when we made it available to our creators how every story that came in was completely unique. We quickly established, as Dave sort of coined the phrase, that we were in the process of creating a new grammar for essentially what's a new medium altogether.
Can you tell us a little bit about Mono, your title?
Well, this is Mono, which is a story that I'm writing with Ben Wolstenholme. Ben Wolstenholme is the artist. I'm also the artist and writer on Captain Stone. But actually this is a really good one to show one of the main innovations, which none of the other companies have got at them. This is what we think of as a sort of jaw-dropping moment. And as you see, sort of it reveals itself in a standard way with a tap to move forward. So the lettering comes out. And this was something else that we were excited by. We realized that staggering the lettering meant that it gave a different sense to the way the stories unfolded. You could put different emphases on the words. And we could have little things that are very subtle lighting effects going on there, and we've also got focus pulls. And you can be quite interesting in the way you design the lettering and the layouts. This, though, is our sort of pièce de résistance, which is a completely immersive panel. So you're basically standing right inside a piece of artwork, and you can look up and you can look down. And if you want, this is a bit like Where's Waldo. You can find our guy up there writing his journal. So he's hiding out in Con, trying to avoid the German soldiers. So that's one of the main books, and Dave's series of books is Treatment, which is which is in it. So this is a really progressive piece of work by Kinman Chan, based on Dave's story world. Dave's overseeing all the Treatment stories, so I should let Dave talk about this one, really.
Now, comic fans know your name. We know that you've been working on comics for maybe a little while. Certainly as young as you look, can't be that long. Tell us what drew you to Madefire and what that you like about the tool.
Well, it had been apparent to me for a long time that there was an opportunity to tell stories on these new handheld devices, and for a long time I've used technology to actually produce comics. I've been using an Apple computer since about 1992, and I was really interested in trying to extend the range of what you could do in a comic book. I've been involved with the Watchmen motion comic, which was kind of a cut and paste, pan and scan thing, and that solved a few problems and did part of what I thought it could do, but it wasn't completely satisfactory. I've known Liam for some time and watched him trying to get new formats and new titles going. And when he came to me with this idea that he developed with his friend Ben Wolstenholme, I immediately thought, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. And we found that we all got on really well together, had similar ideas. They were as much dedicated in their way as I was to interesting ways to tell stories. And I think that's what I would emphasise, is that it is still a storytelling medium. It isn't an animation. It's me, for instance, telling you a story that you as the reader participate in. And everything we've done with the tool and with the materials towards that end of telling good stories and not just providing bells and whistles. Interestingly, I mean, what Liam just demoed, that 360-degree panorama. That takes what you could do in comics up a whole scale. I mean, the biggest thing you could do before that was a double-page spread. But to have your head inside this world, everybody who's seen that has gone, wow. And it isn't there just to go wow, it's in there because it absolutely sets the scene. It absolutely overwhelms you with this character's experience. So I'm really enjoying having the chance, having spent some time, as you mentioned, in traditional comics, of trying out a whole new medium and just seeing what we can do with it.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Watchmen motion comic, but this seems like it's a whole different level. Can you tell us a little bit, are there any challenges involved with this, and have there been any instances where it's sparked your imagination?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's challenges all the time, which is actually what I find attractive about it. I mean, I remember sitting down to write the first script. So you type page 1, panel 1, and you think, hold on, no, there isn't a page 1, there isn't a panel 1. You think, okay, we're looking at this picture, how do we get to the next one? Do we cut? Do we fade? Do we dissolve? When do the balloons come in? Do we zoom in on it? Are we going to have a depth of field? So it's very challenging because you've got so many more options that you have to think about. But as Liam mentioned earlier, the fact that Madefire has got a tool which is relatively simple to use means that artists can dive straight into it. And what's going to be really, really interesting is just to see what people come up with. It's like give an intelligent man a tool and see what he does with it. And so, yeah, it's a challenge, but it's a whole wonderful world of opportunity as well.
Seems like the next generation of sequential art. I think Scott McCloud would be proud.
I would like to think so, yeah.
Yeah, I would like to think so, definitely. I mean, and the other thing I should say, you were asking about innovations, and the thing that really surprised us was the aspect of sound, because we had thought with motion books, a lot of it's dictated, so you'll have actors sort of reading the parts, and that's a passive experience because you have no control over the way the story unfolds, as a reader, and to engage a reader, the reader has to have control. So we were a bit dubious about sound as an element to start with until we tried it. And when we realized that could still work with a tap control, it actually became apparent that we had to do it with all of them. If you don't like the sound, you can always turn it off. But it's to have it there as an option is way more powerful than we expected. And especially if you put on like your headphones and with the iPhone, because we've got it on the iPhone now. And I think more people use the iPhone with headphones than they would sort of an iPad. But when you get involved into this little world, it's so immersive, the sound element, it just completely puts you in this space. And that was a real revelation. I guess it was a bit like films when they had nobody said the talkies would work, they were all like, that's never going to happen. And of course, it was clearly the future and the only way you could go with it. So yeah, it's really interesting, the sound element, and as Dave's saying, it's where you go with the lettering. So you can, because you've got a tap and a timing element, you can have the lettering appear bottom right and end top left. You can have the imagery stagger around the page and be revealed in a sort of circular motion in layers building up. And everything changes. And there's one other thing that's really key, I think, is that the comedy and horror have got a whole new particular, because they're completely based on time. So time is extremely essential part of it. So once you have that ability to have genuine reveals and you don't know what's going to come next, and with the panorama, you could be scooping around and something could literally sort of a zombie or a whatever werewolf could appear. There is a whole new level of excitement about it all, and we just feel like we're scratching the surface, really. Very excited to see where it takes us, because it's just developing so quickly. So it's good.
And your title is called Treatment. Can you tell us a little bit about what it involves?
Well, treatment is an idea that I came up with maybe a couple of years ago. It's an idea I've been kicking around in my notebooks for a long time. What it's actually about is about a world of the near future where there are areas in certain cities where the police won't go. And so there's this outfit called Treatment, who are like freelance police, who will go in there and do it. And the way that they're funded is they are also a reality TV show. So you ride along with these cops, but you do it in real time. People could die, terrible things could happen. Of course, this is a challenge to the bad guys, because if you can whap Treatment's ass on live TV, then you've really made a name for yourself. One of the beauties of it, when we came to look into it, was that it can be set all around the world. Every city, a major city in the world, has got its own treatment team. And because with Madefire we are looking for a global audience, it exactly lends itself to that. And so far we've had Tokyo and Mexico City. We even did a San Diego one, a spoof one, especially for the San Diego Comic-Con. And we've got some really great writers and artists involved. And a little way down the line, I'm going to be creating a whole new treatment story just especially for Madefire. I'm really looking forward to it.
Great. So are we. Now, where can we get the treatment app, and what platforms is it available for?
At the moment it's entirely iOS, so it's on all of your iPhones, it's on iPod Touch, and it's on your iPad. We really wanted to go high end. We wanted to make it the best reading experience we could. By far the sort of best and most functional platform with the most possibilities is the iPad. So that's what we went after. And it's available free, and all the content is available free too. So we're working on monetizing it down the line, but for the moment we're just very keen that people join, just dive in and get as excited as we are about it, really. So it's good.
Yeah, no better way to get people interested than that price point.
Absolutely.
Gentlemen, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.